So this is the last of the three that I'll do, is AOTT. So a lot of times that's kind of the set it and forget it strategy that a lot of people use with Digad. And there are, at least with our company, and I can't speak for others, I'm assuming it's the same way, you can put parameters on where you would like your ads served. Now, should you or should you not do that? That's based on the performance of your campaigns. So, how is the performance of your campaigns? What's the frequency level of your ads being served up? So, kind of like social, you want to be on a kind of a median edge of how often you want your ads served up. You don't want them served up 15 times. That gets annoying. People are gonna, they're gonna get annoyed with you. They're gonna get annoyed with the whole ad. But can we serve them up 3, 4, 5, 6 times? Absolutely. So I have a store right now who we have been talking about AOTT. It's a GM store. We've been talking about AOTT, and they're asking me these questions like, well, how often should I serve it up? What kinds of ads should I serve up? That kind of thing. And what I keep telling them is this depends on the performance of this particular strategy. Now, I happen to have lived in the area that this store is in for quite a long time, so I know the market pretty well. So what I suggested to him is I think we need to shoot a little bit higher for a frequency of maybe 7 or 8, and I think we need to focus on the higher volume channels, the higher content channels. So the moving away from dog TV or Nickelodeon, I don't think those are the right placements for this particular store. But where I think we can win is if we're on more streaming channels. So we're on Netflix, we're on Netflix with ads, Hulu with ads, Paramount Plus, Peacock, that kind of thing. So that's where I told them we need to concentrate on. We're going to go in with a minimal budget. We're not going to go in heavy in the beginning because I just, frankly, for this store and where it's located, I don't think that's necessary. Now, if this store were in a heavier metro market, I would go for a lower frequency and a higher, lower frequency, but I would go in harder on the ad space. You would have to spend more for the ad space, obviously. So it's very contingent on the brand you're selling, the geography you're trying to hit, and the budget you have to work within. So if you have a $10,000 ad budget you're spending, and you're in a rural market, you can hit a pretty broad, wide span of geographies with that. And I would very much encourage you to not just focus on sales. I would very much encourage you to focus on some service ads within there as well. Maybe some trade language and verbiage in your ads, word tracks. The reason being is because if you're going to hit such a broad swath in our example that we're using, if you're going to hit such a broad swath, you want to hit them with all the corners of the dealership, like everything we do at the dealership. If you're in a more metro market, you probably want to concentrate on focus on one message, one portion of the ad, because you're not going to have as much in the terms of frequency to spend. And the reason I say that is because it gets real expensive real fast. We just had the Olympics. We had the Super Bowl. We are going into March Madness. We're going into all these heavy ad space, like we're just one right after another. We're going to all the ad space. The ad space during Olympics is very expensive. The ad space during any election year is very expensive. The ad space in any large scale sporting event is very expensive. So if you're finding that since January, your ad prices have gone up exponentially for AOTT, that's why. So don't blame it on your marketing company. It's actually what's going on in the world right now that's made your CPM a lot more expensive than it should be. And people always ask me, well, what should I be looking for an average CPM? I am not going to share that because that is completely contingent on your market, your brand, your spend. There's a lot of contingencies that are on that particular metric that I've shared it before, and I've had people come back to me like, yeah, that's not accurate. And I'm like, well, it's very different for each brand, each geo. There's just too many variables in it. So if you would like that specific to your brand, please send me a direct message and let me know that you'd like an audit for your particular store for AOTT, and we'll work out a plan for that going forward. So things you can do initially. If you have a brand ad, and so what typically all marketing companies have is they have a brand ad for your store, and then as soon as they get incentives, which is usually between the third and fifth business day of the month, depending on where that falls, they'll typically take replace the branding ad with the incentive ad, and then back to the branding ad until we get the incentive ad up and running. So the issue I have with that is that a lot of times the metrics for each campaign is not separated as such. It's separated by channel, which is important. Don't get me wrong. I want to see the performance by channel, but I also would like to see the performance by campaign. And that's something that I don't see often enough. More often than not, I just see, well, this is how your AOTT strategy did. But much like search and much like social, I want to see what each campaign did. So I would encourage you to ask your vendor, how did the brand campaign perform on Pluto TV or Paramount Plus TV or Roku TV, all those different platforms that serve up OTT streaming TV. You want to see how the ad did on those different platforms. The videos you're using in AOTT, I would absolutely repurpose into a PMAX campaign. Now, there's something to be said for adding incentive ad copy into a PMAX, incentive videos, into a PMAX campaign. I have not seen them help or hurt it. Let's put it that way. So if it were my store, what I would set up would be specific videos for each of my focus models, a brand video for my store, and that would probably be where I would leave it. But again, unique, that's a very general suggestion. So unique to your store, send me a direct message and let's talk about your store and let's do an audit on your store and what you're doing currently, why it's working or not working, and maybe some way we can utilize the creative that you have in other places and maximize the juice out of that video. That's all I got for this week. Happy selling.